Steelers playing the Browns tonight. Question is, who's got the offensive advantage? You got Mason-Rudolph at quarterback on one side, and you got Baker-Mayfield on the other. So let's take a look at what's gone on. Somebody asked me how the wagering people come up with over and under. Well, look at the first one. You got 21 points and 19 points. Add them together, that's 40. Guess what tonight's over-under is?
40?
20. No, it's 40.
40, yeah.
Yards per game.
That doesn't surprise me.
Browns 348 yards per game. Passing yardage 224 to 205. Rush yardage 123 to 83. And that 123, in an ideal win for Cleveland tonight, you need that number up between both guys, between Chubb and Hunt. You got to get it up to 260, 270, something like that.
Well, you know, the one thing is the Steelers' defense is why they're winning. And it isn't their offense. Rudolph isn't turning the ball over, which, again, I don't understand how you can face the quarterbacks the Browns are facing. Brandon Allen, even Josh Allen last week, Mason Rudolph. You should be blitzing him. They should be starting to blitz him right now. Now.
Whenever the Browns over the years are facing a team with a new quarterback, you always hear how they're going to throw the kitchen sink at him. I don't mean the Freddie kitchen sink, but the Browns don't seem to do that when they get the opportunity.
No,
they lay back for some reason.
Yeah, it's almost like they're afraid of giving up the big play, and it's like, no, make this quarterback make a big play.
You talk about Mason Rudolph and Baker Mayfield. Let's take a look. They've faced each other 3 times in college. Here you go, 185 completions out of 309 for Mayfield, 131 of 203. Wow. Baker with 2,200 yards and Rudolph 1,330. And 11 touchdowns, though, 9 for Baker, 4 interceptions versus 12, which is an ugly, ugly stat.
Yeah, you don't like seeing that because turnovers have been one of the things that the Browns' offense has. That's one of the reasons that they are where they are at 3-6 is the turnovers and the inability to score when they get the ball inside the 20-yard line. Those are two things that typically bad teams do and good teams don't do.
Exactly. Let's take a look at the running game. The Browns should have the edge on that. Conner is back. James Conner missed the last 2 games. They say he's going to be back. We don't know how well he's going to be tonight.
They said the thing that I've heard is that they're not going to ride him the way they normally do. He's usually a guy that they like to give the ball quite a bit. They'll still use Samuels and their other back to kind of lighten his workload a little bit.
Chubb could be at the 1,000-yard marker tonight. He's at 919, 380 for Conner. Chubb with 174 carries, the workhorse, versus 97.
Connor's missed a couple, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one thing is, Steelers' defense is pretty good, and the Browns still haven't figured out how to stop the run.
Great point.
You've changed defensive coordinators, you've changed personnel, and it's still tight ends down the seam and running game, running game. And, that's the thing that concerns you with the Steelers.
Sure.
Vance McDonald and James Conner.
One of my favorite names in football is Juju-Smith-Schuster against Beckham. Let's take a look. Doesn't that look like Beckham has the helmet trying to get it over his head and he can't quite do it? Almost looks that way. All right, so Beckham 44 receptions versus 36 for Juju. 503 yards versus 632. You think they're not throwing to him or using him. Those are pretty good numbers against a real quality receiver for Pittsburgh who's had to pick up extra reps.
Well, keep in mind, he hasn't had Roethlisberger. He's had
That's
Mason
also
Rudolph is his quarterback for a while.
14 yards and 14 and a half on the average reception. And Beckham with only 2 touchdowns and Smith-Schuster with 3.
Again, the Browns have to find a way to get Beckham, Landry, Chubb, and Hunt the ball in space. That's what good offenses do.
What's your idea? You can't do them all.
No.
So what's your ideal one? To me, it's Beckham. He's a game changer.
Well, it depends. The thing that should be happening is one of those 4 guys you should be able to find or isolate schematically on each and every play.
Yeah, you can't have 4 guys covering 4 guys.
They haven't been able to figure it out.
Do they not see it?
I don't know.
They got to see it. Come on.
I don't know. It's got to be something schematically. They're not built to do what they need to do. It comes down to I mean, I've watched every game this year, and I've watched it pretty closely. I can't tell you what this offense is trying to do.
I can't either.
They're trying to run power run game. Offensive line isn't good enough to do that.
All right, tell me if you think they've self-scouted themselves to know when and when not to throw the challenge flag.
I don't know.
Sometimes you just got to pick it up.
Yeah, and I mean, in order to do that, especially before the fourth quarter, you better be pretty sure you're going to win it.
Right, I think
there have been 50-50. So many of them have been 50-50 at best.
I think Freddie is like us watching the game at home where we're hoping we're going to get the call, and you don't. And they don't they've sort of made it a mandate among themselves not to overturn calls on the field.
Well, I don't know. I think it has to be pretty egregious, and none of the things that he's challenged have been egregious. They really haven't.
They might have been good enough in real time to be called.
Right.
But not after a penalty, not after you throw the flag.
No, and it's not something where you look at it and you go, "Oh, we blew that." That's almost what it has to be now for the officials to overturn it. It has to be, "Boy, we blew that call.
Yeah.
Let's make it right."
Although a couple times they've made it good on the next series, right?
They never do that.
You watching the same game I am.
Yeah.
You've seen it.